To be informed is to be empowered. To be empowered gives you leverage to be engaged more. That is why here at Speak Up Africa, we continue to bring you conversations that aim to do exactly that. It's an absolute honor to have you here today because we want to unpack a facet of our working economy in this country that is very important, but again has very many gray areas as to how it operates, what are our rights, what are our responsibilities, and which bodies actually heavily help us to govern this space. And to help me carry this conversation is Frida. Frida, I've read about your coming into this space, and it's such a powerful story. Thank you for coming to Speak Up Africa.
Thank you, Wendy.
Today we want to talk about the gig economy.
Yeah.
Most young people don't want to get into 8 to 5 employment. I think even before the cameras were rolling, you mentioned that, yes, going to the office every day is quite tasking with the rains and everything that's in between that. And I think a good place to start the conversation is, who is a gig worker? What does that ecosystem really look like?
Okay. So I'll start by saying that when you talk about a gig worker, it's not like a new name. It actually started in the 1900s with the jazz musicians. So when they would go to the club and do a gig. But then over the years, it has changed. And currently, when you think about gig economy, it's usually people are thinking about the digital aspect of it, where you have platforms or apps. I mean, you can just you can register, log in, and you're able to find your clients. So that's really like the gig economy. But then there are people who are in gigs, but they are not in the platforms. So to separate that, there's a word that's now talking about platform workers, but still in the gig economy. Yeah.
So what would be a perfect example of a gig worker and then someone who is operating in the platforms to give it a clear perspective?
Okay. Gig as it is short term. It is either a task or a project. I mean, there's no permanence. So we agree on something, I do it, and you pay me, and we are done. That would be what gig is. But then when you come now to the platform side, there's an enabler, a technology that is enabling you to do the short-term tasks. So if I may now go to the platform side, is we have about 4 different sectors of gig workers or platform workers. And the first would be the very well-known, who would call the location-based. Or these are the Uber drivers. This would be the delivery people. This would be in construction, the ones who would come to your house for repair, but you have found them through the platform.
Okay.
Or even nannies, for as long as you have found someone through the platform and they are coming to see you offline, those ones are called location-based or offline, depending on how you want to describe them, because the platform is enabling them to get the client, but they have to be there in person to do the job.
Okay.
Then you have the cloud-based. The cloud-based gig workers would be, for a very long time, the people who are called freelancers. And in Kenya, when you say you're a freelancer working online, I think the first thing would come, wale wanafanyanga writing.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's not just writing. They are actually professionals doing, I'm not saying the writers are not professionals, but there are people who have high skills who are still freelancers using these platforms. The common one in this country would be Upwork, which is actually the one I started with about 10 years ago. And there are others that are very specific, would be for designers or developers, but then they work remotely. Why they are called cloud-based is because everything they do is on the cloud. So they will get the work online, they will submit the work online, they'll get payment online. They don't have to see the client.
Okay.
Yeah. Unless they're seeing them on Zoom. But they will never see the client physically. So that's the second category. Then you have the third category that we call on-site. So on-site would be, so in a language we would understand would be BPOs. business processing outsourcing, or ITOs, where maybe a company in Kenya is outsourcing work from outside. They put some people on a site. They provide everything from computers and all, but the company behaves like a third party.
Would the call center fit in that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All
yes,
right.
yes. So the call center would fit in. People who are doing data training, the data labeling would fit in. I mean, there are also other high skills like software development, but then the work is not coming from local clients, it's being outsourced. So there's another employer apart from the one that you know. So that would be on site. And then finally we have the content creators. Yeah, because then they're also generating some revenue either from YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, and all that. But in essence, what is very common in all this is that no one has an employer, right? Yes, an app would generate, I mean, you would get some revenue, someone would pay you through the app, but you do not have the traditional employee-employer relationship. And I think that really is the real description of gig work, where you do not have an employer paying you by the end of the month or giving you the benefits that come with the employment.
Yeah. And I hope that has put perspective for many of us, because I was also really looking forward to having this conversation to be able to put all those categories into perspective. You mentioned 10 years. You started at Upwork.
Yeah.
What triggered you or made you get into exploring this facet of working?
Okay, so I think I've told this story many times, so I try to, yeah. I actually got into the gig economy or Upwork at my youth limit bracket in Kenya, the 35-year age. What had happened for me is when I cleared high school, I got a kid immediately at 19. And then, of course, there's my background. I would not say humble, was poor. And so what happened is that when I was in high school, my school fees wasn't paid from Form 2. The head mistress then, she has passed on, they told my parents, okay, because she's a bright girl, she will stay on, but just remember when she clears her high school, there will be no papers until you're able to clear this. So yes, I did my KCSE and I got grades to get me to university, but then there was no papers to move on. So at that point, there's of course some kind of hopelessness, being that you are a bright kid, you wanted to do something, but it's not possible. So I in that kind of scenario, I got pregnant and got my firstborn at 19, and then I became domesticated for 17 years and got another 3 kids. So in total, I have 3 boys and 1 girl. So the motivation bit is because the boys are the ones that came first. At some point, the first 2 boys mentioned how they are going to grow up and become rich and keep their wives in the house. I think for me, that was an aha moment of, what? This is what this is what they've been seeing. Because I'm always with them. The dad is the one who lives to go get money. So I told them, with your generation, that's not going to happen. But then that conversation, we talked, and that was that. Then I got my girl. And I think for her, this was now, okay, so as much as I'm role modeling for the young men, this one is a girl.
She wants to copy-paste what she's seeing.
So when she, on her first birthday, which was in 2015, is when I sat down and I asked myself, what exactly can I do? And I was very sure I'm not adding any more kids and I'm still in the youth bracket, okay, the limit side of it. But then what was I to do with a 17-year gap, 18, 17 year? I mean, I had not been employed. So I'd heard about online work. And at that particular point in my home, it's not like now in Nairobi where, I mean, if you have a house, you're thinking, do I need internet? We didn't have that. I mean, why we didn't need it by then. So I'd heard about online work, and what I did is I requested my husband we get internet. And I asked, just for a month, let me research this thing, find out if it is working or not. If not, I'll just leave it. So yes, he agreed. And by then we went to fetch a modem. It was a ceremony to go get a modem.
Yeah.
And I was using his work laptop.
Frida, let me ask you. Sorry, let me just pause there.
Okay.
You mentioned this, and it begs the question in my head. So how was teenagehood for you guys? Imagining there was no Wi-Fi at home, haikukuanga something. It was not the thing.
Yeah.
So how would you guys get connected?
Teenagehood, I would say, I think for us, we had a lot of good social life.
Okay.
For those who love to read, actually, Generation 8, we would read newspapers, vizuri.
Okay.
And because the books, newspapers, magazines, that was like mostly the source of information. And radio. You know, radio was, I mean, I think we knew each and every song, each and every, yeah. But in terms of internet, and then of course, because of the background that I came from, it was also, I was also a late bloomer when technology was, I mean, there are others who knew that faster.
Yeah.
But because by the time I was clearing high school, I think Facebook was already on. Yeah.
And then that's the time cybers became a thing.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And because at that particular point, our parents were like, umemaliza form 4, we're taking you for computer packages. I think that was the biggest achievement by then. Yeah. So where was I? Okay.
You go and get a modem.
We go get a modem. I come home, so I'd given myself a whole month to do this research. I find nothing, then I try and find something else to do. So I went on that rabbit hole. Like I was not sleeping, trying to find. I would get scams. I mean, you know, the more things are changing, the more things are the same. Because by then there were still people telling you to join affiliates. The what are they called? M&M, I think. Where you're asked to join, bring other people, you'll make money, you'll earn $10,000 in a month. They were still there. But then I came across a Facebook community in Kenya, a local Facebook community for transcribers and writers. So they were calling themselves just that, Awesome Transcribers Kenya, AWK. I mean, I think a lot of the information that I needed was already here. I joined the community and followed it quietly just to see what's going on. But then they had pinned, trusted trainers. And these were people who had already gotten into the space, understood it, and they had created courses for anyone else who would want to do this. And what I did is I identified people who are doing article writing by then, people are doing academic by then, and there was transcription. So thinking about that long gap thing, I thought, okay, I think transcription might be easy for me because all I need to do is know English. I can learn how to type on the go.
Yes.
So I reached out to one of the ladies, one of the trusted trainers, and she told me to send 1,000 bob for the training. And the training was about 10 days. So I sent the 1,000 bob, but I never told anyone, even in my family, because I was like, if this 1,000 bob, ikimeza maji, and it's okay, I'll bear the disappointment alone. And then, of course, if I had said that before, I would have been warned, hey, you'll be scammed. Yeah. I just wanted to, so I sent the 1,000 bob. And she sent me the courses via email. So that was also very a shock for me.
Was she in Kenya?
She was in Kenya.
Okay. But you're just communicating virtually?
Yeah. This group was all Kenyans who had gotten into the space earlier on. So she would send the course on email, the whole course on email. And then there would be an assignment for 10 days. The final, because she was getting a lot of work by then. So she said, if I give you the final test and you get a 90%, I'm going to hire you. But then she gave me an Indian accent audio tape. So transcription is converting what you hear into word verbatim. Like the way we are recording this, someone, okay, now it's very easy because it's automated, but then we used to do it by manually. So she gave me an Indian accent, and I grew up in Isili, Juja Road. By the time I was in primary school, we had a lot of Indian friends.
Yeah.
So I thought, why
It will
not?
be a
Yeah,
full sail.
but yeah, it was another Indian accent, huko ndani. So I got an 88%.
That was a good score.
Yeah, it was. But you see, there was that promise of, if you get a 90, I'll give you work.
Okay.
So I get an 88%. I'm like, okay, so then what happens? And she said, I'll introduce you to the platform that I use. You navigate your way, but if you need something, I'm here to help. So she introduced me to Upwork. So by then, we had Elance and Odesk that merged and became Upwork. So it was very easy. We were actually registering with Facebook. It's not like now. They didn't need verification. I mean, I could just go there and say I am a lawyer, and it's me to say it and show it. So I joined Upwork in August because the train. So my daughter's birthday was in May. I get trained in July, and then I joined Upwork in August.
Okay.
And for 2 weeks, I was just bidding, looking for clients who require transcription work. So the first thing is I didn't even know how to charge. I wasn't sure I knew what I was doing because I'd just been trained for 10 days. You need trial and error. But I got my first client, and he was Nigerian 2 weeks after. And by the time the money was coming to me, it was about 800 shillings. But I wish you would have seen me when, like, oh, this is actually possible.
Yeah.
I think for me, that was like, okay, so this works. And because of that, I worked hard. I mean, I am still a mother. And my kids have not brought them up with a house help. So I was still doing that.
Yeah.
And then working at night. In 3 months' time, I got top rated on that Upwork. And you know what that meant is that now instead of bidding, I would wake up and find clients have invited.
Yeah.
So I was like, hey, okay. There's no way I'm telling clients I am not able to do this job at it because I have other work. The way I've stayed out of in this house for a long time.
You will do it.
I will do it. So I went back to her, the lady who had trained me, and asked her, have you trained other people who you feel are really good? Now I was even asking for the 90%. And then for me, I felt if they have gone through her training, then would be similar standards.
Yes.
Can you give me a few of them so that now I can start outsourcing? So that's how I started outsourcing work, transcription work. Yeah.
Wow. So 10 years later, you sit as the chair for Kenya Union of Gig Workers. What brought about the formation of this union? So
I would say it has been a journey because you see at first, we only knew each other. So the sectors I've told you, the space is designed to be that fragmented and that isolated. So for example, when we were working on Upwork, we only knew that is gig work. We only knew that is the only platform work that people do. And what Upwork did is that they said they want to help us, they want to create a community because we are always working from home. So they looked at the top-rated freelancers in Nairobi and said, we can connect you so that you go have coffee somewhere. So when we went and sat down the first time and talked, it was very clear that as much as we feel like we are succeeding in this space, there's things that there are things that we don't have control over in terms of the platform and the dependency of that platform. Because unless your client is the one who's asking you to leave the platform, if the platform decides to kick you out, you have no recourse. So apart from because what they did is they brought us as top-rated freelancers, meaning in terms of getting clients and earning, that was not an issue by then. The issue was now the isolation. We started realizing, so personally, I did get sick after a while and I went to the hospital and they said it's because of sitting down. So you see, that's an occupational hazard we had never thought about.
Yeah.
Others started getting mental issues because the only person you're talking to in a month is that computer, you know? And so we realized that there are issues that are beyond this, and no one is speaking about it. So we actually started coming together. And at that point, it was, can we just meet once a month? Just so we just get out of this, this environment of computers and technology and whatever. And then started finding out that there are other gig workers, the Uber. At some point, if you were to tell a Kenyan freelancer that there's something common with them na Uber, wangeshindo, what are you talking
What are you really saying?
I am talking to Americans earning USD.
Yeah.
But then now we went on and started realizing, okay, there's one common enemy, and that's algorithm management. And there's also this part of the platform saying that they are third party. They're not the ones who are giving you clients. They're just enabling, because that's the those are the words that they use. And then they say you're an independent contractor. When you join the platform, you sign a service agreement, meaning they have made sure there's no way in anything about labor is there. They're not responsible or accountable for.
Yeah.
So we formed the first association in 2019. And that was for online workers only. It was called Upwork. So that didn't go very well, because with time we started realizing whatever our problems are, the way associations are registered in this country, we don't have the legal mandate to do that.
Right.
Associations are really good when, for example, you're all employed. And for example, you're all marketers, like the marketers one, because association is about your welfare as professionals. It is about ensuring that you're growing. The trends, everything around that. Ours was not that. Ours was, we are being exploited. There needs to be someone who is regulating these platforms. And so that is when we realized that, okay, I think there's another outfit. Let's find out which outfit would be best for us to do that. And I can tell you, by the time we were getting registered, so we understood that would be a union. But then there's a challenge. Unions are usually for employer-employee.
So you then, how do you navigate
how do we navigate that? But then when we identified that a union is the only legally mandated, organization that is able to speak to our challenges, we started that process. And we got the interim. So tumeongea juu ya 2019. We got the interim certificate in 2024 November.
What made the process long and tedious like that?
Because of that. Because unions are supposed to be representing workers, but workers in the traditional way. The traditional way, employer-employee.
Yeah.
So nyinyi, who are you representing? Because at the end of the day, you're not classified as workers. Kenya does not have a classification for you. You're independent workers according to the platforms, but then they are controlling everything.
Yes.
So that means then you're not independent as they would want you to think. So going to these spaces, so one of the things actually I decided when I was told I'm getting sick because I'm not leaving the house, is to identify events that I could go to intentionally that are speaking about the digital economy. So the interesting part, Wendy, is that when we started going for those events, you would take a microphone, say, this is what we do, and everyone is deaf. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
But with time, I would say, because of that persistence, it has gotten to a point where I think, as much as we are still not there, at least there's there are organizations, there are people who are acknowledging or even putting us in those tables to speak about this ecosystem. So that was the biggest challenge, getting us to get that union. And in 2024, it got registered, but interim. Then it took us another 10 months to get the final certificates in 2025 September.
Wow.
Yeah. And I think that as much as it has taken 10 years, I think that is something really great about having the Kenya Union of Gig Workers. And now going out and letting people know that this is not, because these spaces, I've told you, they have so many associations. Telling them that now we need to organize under one.
And be under this umbrella, this union.
Yes, because we are 1.2 million, depending on the research that you're reading. Others will tell you 2.4 million.
Almost double that number.
Yeah. So I think if you think about the power that is in those numbers, I mean, collective things like collective bargaining with traditional employer-employee is if you have 50% plus one of your workers wanting to be represented, then you can do that. Why not us? I mean, if there are 30,000 Uber drivers, if we have 20,000 of them, then we have a right through the Ministry of Labor to sit down and be heard even by the platforms themselves. That is, I would say, the journey of understanding our issues were labor related. As much as there's a issue labor related because of the exploitation and extractiveness. It's a very extractive industry that is very well, I would say, given a very beautiful outfit of the digital economy, of the jobs that are being created in the digital. You know, I mean, if you say you're in the digital economy and you put Mama Fua, digital economy feels very nice. But
it has some sophistication to it.
But I would tell you sometimes Mama Fua is earning way better and is comfortable and peaceful than
compared to Frida. I mean, there's so many, like the outfit you're talking about. I feel like even when we come to the place where there's a research that is saying 1.2 million and there's another that's saying 2.4 million, it gives us a primary point of view that even the people in the ecosystem themselves don't have an understanding of who they are. Early in the conversation, you said you got 800 bob and you're like, oh, wait, wow, this thing actually really works. And I will ask you, looking back at it right now, was that 800 bob value for money, or there was an element of exploitation? Because I want to tie it to, do people even understand how navigating that space looks like, you know? So that there's the exploitation. Do we understand how we can navigate? And the 6 months that you've been in operation, have we seen effectiveness of the union already?
Yeah, so of course there was, I mean, I think for everyone who's found themselves in this space, you come in out of necessity. You might have your degree or, you know, but because you don't have a job and someone tells you, you have bills to pay, someone tells you there's an opportunity here, you'll join. So at first we come in just to look for a job. We are not thinking about the quality of that job or the money. But there's when I got the 800 shillings, the standard rate by then was around 1,500 to 3,000. But I got, So, but for the person who was hiring me, they already knew I was a new entrant, you know, and I was okay with whatever amount he says. For platform work, especially the freelancers, they might be advantaged a bit because as much as you get in without knowing your price, you learn. I mean, as you're doing the job, because at the same time, my course was 10 days. So even me, I wasn't very sure that I am offering value. Actually, I know I was not offering value because I still have that fast transcript. Yes. I wasn't offering value, but as you go and you start understanding the value you're offering, then you're able to change your rate. The issue with other gig workers, like the location-based, where prices are set by the platform itself, then you have no way. I mean, they will decide. I don't know if you remember, there's a time is it end of last year, or it's still going on, when you ask for an Uber and it tells you 0. You wonder, okay, as much as they tell them, they may pay them on the other end, but thinking about the state of economy in this country, that Uber driver woke up hoping that you would pay cash so that he can fuel. But then it's 0 for you.
I actually saw a trend on TikTok, especially for riders. So someone takes a video and says, "Nitamwambiaje, trip ni 0."
Yes, exactly.
You know? Yeah. And until one time I lived that experience. And so when we go to the destination, I gave him like maybe half or 3/4. I was like, by the Uber, imenipea 0, but with all fairness, even if you'll be reimbursed that offer, wechukua tu, you know, because it's the only human thing to kind of do.
But tunaona sasa hivyo umesema, why are they supposed to be waiting for you to feel human? You get?
Yeah.
It's their right. They are working. They need to be paid fairly. So if there's discounts, the Uber people need to, because honestly, maybe that the thing is that Uber driver requires fuel. So ukimwekea discount every day,
how is he supposed to operate?
So there's that bit of there are platforms who will not allow you to negotiate your rates. The online ones are a bit better, but then there's also the online ones who are micro workers. One example that would be maybe relevant in the country was a platform that was called Remotask. So those ones are micro workers. So those ones are like Ubers, it's just that they are online. You go pick a task, the rate is already set and all that. And I just woke up one day and decided we are not hiring Kenyans anymore. Changed its name. Now it's called Scale AI. There's another Outlier. But now it has decided no Kenyan can get into that platform.
Why was that decision come about?
So I there are two theories. First is there's a time finya computer inaleta dollar phrase. I think the government found out that people are doing work in Remotask. And because they've already gone to places like Upwork to ask for tax, that might be one of the things that triggered Remotask and decided, why are we paying taxes? I mean, I think, the other thing would be they would maybe we violated some policies in terms of maybe selling accounts and such. So I'm not very sure what the story is, but they just woke out one day and decided that's it and that's it.
With such a conversation or such an incident happening, is that a place that now the union will be coming in and saying, can we go to the table and negotiate? Because if it is something to do with the accounts, if it's something that we can have procedural conversations to work around, then we can mitigate. Because I mean, there could be people whose primary source of livelihood is taken away. What do we do with them, you know?
Yes. So I like that you have talked about the primary livelihood. Gig work, when it began, it was supposed to be a side hustle. The origin of gig work, this is why there's flexibility and all that. It was supposed to be a side hustle. So most people who would work, especially America, because I think that's where it started, would have a day job and then
by night
do something else. So the day job is taking care of your benefits and your protection and your insurance. So really, no one was worrying about those things because this is a side hustle. It's extra income. Those were the words, it's extra income. But now, dynamics are very different here. Gig work is full-time. Most people, gig work is full-time. I mean, from morning to, there's nothing else someone is doing apart from being an Uber driver or an online worker. That is your work. You're either a virtual assistant, you're a developer, or you're a graphic designer.
Yeah.
You're doing it online. So now, in terms of the union, where the power of the union comes in, for the location, for the platforms that already have regional offices in Kenya, yes, the union has the power to have that conversation. The only thing that is required is that the people working with that platform, so if it's the Uber drivers, if it's the delivery Bolt, or it's Glovo, if they come under the union as members of the union, then they're in a position to tell the union, this is our pain points and these are our demands. And then the union is able to write to the platform or talk to the platform and have a sitting. But you cannot do that when you don't have
part of the union.
You're not part of the union. If there's an area that requires high participation, is in a union. And a union is not. I said I am the national. Oh, you said I'm the. Yeah, you're the one who said I'm the national chair. It doesn't mean that I understand. My area where I understand fully everything is in the online space, because that is where I worked. I wouldn't understand fully what is in what the Uber drivers are going through, or the content creators, right? Meaning, it is important that the content creators come together under this platform called Kenya Union of Gig Workers and leverage that power to be able to bargain for their rights. The same way, go to government, because as a union, you are part of what they call the tripartite. So there's government, there's the employer or the platform, and the worker. Most of the time, the conversations are between the platform, employer, and government, never the worker, because there's no legal representation.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Sorry, Frida. A while back, a couple of months back, I remember even during COVID, when creatives came together, they were like, they need a body that protects them and will speak on their rights. And at that time, the government was like, we are mulikaing you guys, kabisa. You guys need to pay taxes and whatnot. And it was a whole conversation. And critics were saying people want to politicize these bodies, that these unions are coming as tools from the government. So how effective will that be, and how true is that? How will the union, for example, for gig workers, as you sit at the pinnacle of it, how will you maintain your independence?
All right. So unions have, one of the things is that we do not have like a clear understanding of what a union is and its mandate and its set laws.
Yeah.
And I would say it is because of maybe what we see every day. I think when I was in primary school, if I'm not wrong, NAT was a very strong union. I think as we grew up knowing unions have power, the generation that is here right now have no idea about that. Because I remember there's a time teachers were asked to strike for a full term, and we stayed home for a full term. And clearly, I mean, if you're government, you have to at some point agree.
Yeah, you have to.
Because then you're affecting all these kids in the country. Historically, if you think about what unions have been able to do, I mean, South Africa unions are the ones even who helped for them to get freedom. They were a big part of it. If you think about now America or UK or Europe, unions are very strong. Especially Europe, unions are very strong because they have set laws. A union is supposed to represent the workers' issues.
Yeah.
Nothing else, the workers' issue. If a worker, for example, let me take a platform that maybe deals with repair people and in the construction industry. And they are not thinking about their occupational hazard because anything can happen while you're working. The workers can come together and say, we require this and this to happen, right? You know the groups that we had on Facebook, the association, none of those groups has that power to be able to sit down and sometimes force the employer or the platform, in our case, the platform, to sit down and negotiate. Now, unions are paid up membership. It's the workers themselves who are paying. The generation that is under me, honestly, you're not going to use their money without showing them the value for money. So I think for this generation, they are understanding what a union is and the power that they have as members would allow them to actually get exactly what they want. So you would have a lot of challenges, but you tackle one at a time. Because in negotiations, I can't come and tell you I want 7 things. You also have to tell, it's a back and forth. But in terms of independence, it's there's elections, there's a paid up membership, and there's democracy, right? We all and like I said, we have ours is honestly not a traditional union, because today, if you're employed as a teacher and you get your contract, you sign up to join a union. So I mean, no one is coming to tell you why you're joining that new union or what benefits you're going to get from that union. And then every month your salary, there's money that's being deducted for the union. That's very different from us. You have to be the one, because you don't have an employer, so you have to be the one deciding to join the union for your own benefit.
Yeah.
Meaning you will have to keep everyone accountable, right? And you also, as a member, when you join in, you also have the power after 5 years to decide to be the one running for office. No, you see?
Yeah.
So there's set laws, there's set standards, but at the same time, the kind of industry we are, you have to be responsible and accountable.
Then this calls for a lot of intentionality. I wanted us to really talk about the challenges that are there. But before that, are you doing enough sensitization to tell people, hey, by the way, us guys are here? Because there's a very big probability that people are not aware that this union is there. Remember, your mode of operation is you're inside your house. Hence, why you unfortunately got sick. It's you, your employer, who is Maju. You'll get your pay, you go out, hang out with your friends who probably are not even in the same space of operation. So there is no knowledge of, by the way, guys, there's this space that is being created for us that will help us mitigate some of the challenges we will come to. Do you think you're doing enough sensitization as it is right now to mobilize more people into the union?
So I wouldn't say enough. I think there's a lot more to be done.
Okay.
Because for the 10 months that we were interim, we wouldn't have gotten paid membership.
Okay.
So our interim time was we were just on social media talking about rights. But in the interim, there are things we also were able to do. So, for example, on the BPO side, there's a policy that was being created, and that policy, because it was founded by the private sector, was, of course, investor, economic, innovation looking. No one was thinking about the labor side.
Yeah.
So we did send our submission, and we were on our social media pages, we talked about it. And now from that particular one, the Ministry of Labor confirmed. So we are actually registered under the Ministry of Labor, but now the Ministry of Labor knows that there's a Kenya Union of Gig Workers. The other thing would be from the international perspective. So platforms like Akina Upwork, who are not in our jurisdiction, we do not have much. There's not much we can do apart from maybe whistleblowing or, maybe making it an image thing. But now, because of platform work is not just a Kenyan issue, it has been all this. That exploitation and extractive thing has been all over globally. So International Labour Organization, which is the institution of work, took notice of it because of the strikes, the stories, content moderation stories and all that. And last year, they put it as an agenda on their when they were sitting at that conference. And it has been, of course, a journey to get there. But then this year, we are very hopeful because that they will pass a convention and a recommendation. So that becomes a plus because then Kenya being a member, then we have to, as a union now, you can tell government, you're a member, we need to ratify this and create these laws in this country. But at the same time, it affects, if America agrees, then Upwork is accountable to do the same from their end. So this is a space that feels like challenges are too many.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's always a starting point, and for us, that is why we felt the starting point is getting first and foremost the right institution to do this. Yeah.
So as you jumpstart that work, I mean, we've said there are myriad of challenges, from exploitation in pay to there's no tangible element of compensation that we're talking about, health. If an accident happens, what happens to you? If there's loss of life, what happens to you? If there are problems in between, could be even sexual. When you're in that space, what happens to you? But you are registered under Ministry of Labor.
So it's the Labor Relations Act.
So are there policies right now that are already sort of protecting the gig workers in terms? None.
Yeah, I think only the Constitution protects the gig workers at this particular point. But in terms of policies, no, because the Ministry of Labor has the Employment Act. And that is employer-employee discussion. There has to be a contract. You have to be given maternity leave. There will be your pension and insurance and all that. And it was written in 2007. So clearly there was no gig then so right now what there has been is discussions around either amending that so that it includes the platform workers, but at the same time, can we start from the beginning of defining who a gig worker is? Right? Define who a gig worker is, define the sectors that they are in, so that now, because for EU, them they have a platform workers directive. They, it's when what is it called? Singapore. When Singapore decided to bring platform workers into their social benefits, the government's social benefit framework, they called them platform workers. We do not, there's discussions of saying that then platform workers need to be employees. Ours is, so who said flexibility and rights are two different things?
That they cannot go hand in hand.
They cannot go hand in hand. So there are jurisdictions where they have decided to have a third label to clearly define this space. Rather than say that these are employees. Because at the same time, if I'm bringing my car, there's an element of independence. I am fueling my car, but there's a lot of control on this other end. So we have some dependency. Actually, there's a lot of dependency. So in terms of those policies, so there's that part. Can we define first, before we start talking about policies, we define who these people are. Because if I'm working in Bolt today and tomorrow I'm in Uber, my social protection should be portable. Right?
Yeah.
If I'm in Upwork today, but in the evening I drive an Uber, it should be portable, my social protection. If it's algorithm management, which is a very common thing amongst all platform workers, can it be transparent? I mean, why did you deactivate me? Who am I talking to? Who can who, apart from the boat and the tickets, who can I talk to so that I understand? I can give my side of the story, because I could be deactivated because a client decided she has a bad day, and then gives you poor ratings or says something.
Yeah.
Then how then will I say, but that was not the case? They don't give you that opportunity at all. The other thing now that is also very interesting in the country is AI. Because when the country is talking about AI, they are talking, it's coming now. While we have had it for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
I mean, my transcription started leaving in 2017. Immediately, they started automating it. So that's a job that was affected in 2017, and we are talking about AI now.
Okay.
And saying, there's a phrase that they say that AI is not coming for your jobs. but the people who will not know how to use AI and will lose their jobs. Usually I am like, no, there are jobs that will go completely, as much as there are others that will be built because of this AI.
Yeah. Frida, here at Speak Up Africa, we actually have conversations that aim to inform, engage, and empower. And what you've said is very powerful. And sometimes I usually feel like some of the conversations we have at surface level are either have a higher controlling, because it's true that AI did not come last year or the other year. And I want you to look into your camera and just say that to us again.
About AI.
Yeah.
So AI is not a new thing. Actually, if you think about or read about the history of AI, it is over 50 years old or more, I think. And I'll just bring something into perspective about AI. Is back in 2011, I think I was nursing my third born, so I had a bit of free time. I watched a movie that was called Person of Interest. And after watching it, I said, so there's no privacy. But I mean, I didn't know about technology the way I know today. So the other day on Netflix, they brought it back and I was like, aha, now I know what it was actually meaning. So the thing is, AI will actually finish off some jobs completely. For example, I was doing transcription and clients by then would say they want human transcripts. Right now, they are doing automated transcript, asking for human proofread. But because AI every day is being fed, is becoming better, sometimes with the right accent, we don't even need to proofread. So there's a whole job, two jobs actually, the transcription and the proofreader, that have now, I mean, you don't have a market for it as it was then. The thing is, there are new jobs that will be created because of AI, but there are those you have to be very realistic that they will no longer be there. For my country, because there's something that they're doing about developing an AI policy right now. And one of the things that has really, really concerned us is that there were roundtables with other sectors, but no one thought about the gig workers, the very people who have been managed by AI for over 10 years, the very people who have been training that AI, the very people who have been going through all the garbage in the internet so that they can label that this is bad so that you and I don't see. I mean, why would you leave out that? Because AI is not about, as much as it's about innovation and a lot of investment and economic growth, there's people fueling that behind the scenes. So, I mean, I think it's very good to be realistic that if you need to upskill, if you need to check an area that you're sure might not be taken by AI, or you can work with AI, this is the time to do it. Because, I think tushapita hapo.
So it's a reality that some, let's call them career paths or spaces of operations will be phased off. And I like what you said, that people say, AI will not come to replace you. It will be there. And AI heavily depends on the information that is fed to it, When we generally look at the tech space as a country, Frida, we are playing catch up. A good one.
Yeah.
You see, the simple thing you've told us here, we can go to the street and sample 10 to 20 Kenyans, and I'm telling you, they're not aware. As a point of reflection, do you think sometimes it is a deliberate action by our government for us guys not to be informed? Because look at how the education system is going. Sometimes, Frida, it saddens me that even with right now we have CDC, we have, I think, CDE. It's just a lot that is not even black and white. There's a lot of gray areas.
Yeah.
Our teachers who are being trained in colleges are still being trained for 844, to go and teach CBC, all right? And if you just look at how that ecosystem has been planned out for us, it is sad. So now bring AI into the equation. And I'm like, what are we preparing our kids for? Yeah. You can weigh in on that.
Yeah. So the thing is, it is, I usually say it's as much as we want to sound as Silicon Savannah, it is very good to localize your issues, because the AI that we are using is all foreign. I mean, I think there are packs of people who are developing local AI, but developing that thing is very, very expensive. Because, for example, if we were to think about Swahili, doing things in Swahili, it would require us to go to, let me use that, KBC, because it's the oldest, take all videos, all audios since 1963, and then collect that data, have people train it and all that. It's a very expensive affair. I mean, ChatGPT, as it is today, has never made a profit, but we all know how much money has been put there over the years. Yeah. So when it comes to adapt, I think it's adoption of AI. We need to be able to understand our context as a country, right? Because as much as we would think about the infrastructure, which is very, very important, but are we doing this so that we can continue training AI for Europe and US? Or is it for us? I mean, when you think about sovereignty, what does that mean for us as a country? I mean, so let me give you an example of why I say this. We have an AI bill by Karen Nyamu, Senator, right? That bill is like a copy-paste of the EU one. But then does our government have the money and resources to implement it the way the EU does? Right?
Yeah.
The EU loves their workers. The EU fights for their platform workers. Here, we've not even started. We don't even know.
Haven't scratched the surface.
Yeah, right? So I think getting the context and localization of where we are as a country. I mean, technology is still here, but how do we ensure that it is working for us? And we are not just consuming or preparing it for someone else. There's an example of this would be we went for a researchers conference in Italy. And one of the guys we went with are the ones who created AI for Tesla, the self-drive. And then he sees the end result there and he's like, we were conned. I mean, if this was the final product, whatever I was paid was, it's not even peanuts. You can't compare.
It was nothing.
Yeah. Exactly. So you collect data, every time a delivery person has that map, they're collecting data. But that data is only benefiting the platforms who are not even local. That should also be part of your labor costs, right? So at the end of it, tuangalia vitu vile ziko.
A lot is yet to be done.
Yeah.
Frida, all this heavily relies on tech, on data, right? We've had conversations around data privacy and protection in our country. And when I look at the gig economy, it basically, the backbone is all on data. And data. How secure are you guys?
Yeah, I think kama there's vulnerability, iko high on our end, because if you think about, so let me give you, I want to give you exact examples. If I'm working on Upwork today and I have an hourly job, so they have two types of jobs. There's a project job where I'll be paid either by milestone or after I'm done with the job, and there's an hourly one where I'm literally paid for the hour that I'm doing the work. So I will sit down and with my computer, and there's an app that I have to download on my computer. Every 10 seconds, 10 minutes or 10 seconds, I think 10 minutes, it takes a screenshot. A screenshot. So I cannot even go to another tab. I have to be there. I cannot go to the washroom until that hour ends. Right? Yeah. Think about the ones that are working in BPOs. Not the ones who are working in micro platforms like the cloud, the remote task example I gave you. where the way your mouse is moving is monitored. And then the camera on your laptop can take photos of your environment every now and then, actually randomly. So you'd get to a point where we had a conversation with one of the young men who are doing this, where 3 months later, you're being called to be asked, so who was that on your, because they took a screenshot and maybe your child was passing by. So there's a lot of invasion of privacy, a lot of it, when you think about the platform economy, because they have every movement. And you know that the AI is becoming better and better and better in terms of monitoring and surveilling.
So I'll take us back to, remember when you said, when I asked you about exploitation, and you're like, people are coming from a place of necessity, you know? And Frida, if you look at the grand picture of our country, sometimes even when people go to these conferences or even have podcasts like this, they will not really consume this information because someone can start thinking that I will not pick this job because they are monitoring or surveying my environment. Now, we don't have food at night.
It's true.
Do they consent? Like when you're getting the job, do you consent that all of this of my data will be taken?
Not really. No, because I will tell you that, for these court cases that have been there around Meta and all, at some point, when you come in, you're not even told you're coming to moderate content that is maybe X-rated. You will come in, they will actually even call it transcription sometime, or it's a customer something. So you will come in, and then your first job, you'll be labeling cats and grass and roofs, and it's nice and beautiful. But then you'll get to a point where you have to start moderating or labeling very bad things. And the thing you're doing is about 8 hours or more. You see? So that transparency, because sometimes I usually say there are people who go to school and they want to become morgue attendants. If you take me there, I'll be the next one down there. Because that is not what I want to do.
Yeah.
So I say, if you need to moderate or label this X-rated content, you know, where you're asking people. So can you imagine being asked to describe cannibalism to an AI so that it can understand it?
Yeah.
So you have to watch that and explain it bit by bit, you know?
Yeah.
You have to watch maybe pornography. You have to be in a conversation with it. And I'm telling you true stories of people who have done this, where if you're working, me, I have to behave like a gay man. Me, I have to behave like a bi. Me, the same person, me, I have, all those fetishes, I have to be that.
For it to pick.
For it to pick. Or for me to be able to label and say, maybe this is not good content to be seen. If someone is being beheaded, I have to explain that. Such things, right? So I usually say, if you're transparent and tell me, this is what you're going to be doing, give me a choice. As much as nataka necessity, give me a choice. I'm going in knowing yenye nitaenda kuona bad things. But because, again, it is necessity that has brought me in, can you take more responsibility and try and find a way for my mental wellness, whether to be taken care of? Because I could say yes, because I don't have money, I don't have food, and I do not know even the depth of it. As much as I was told, you're going to be watching people being beheaded. I don't know the depth of it until I
the magnitude of it until you're in that ecosystem 8 hours a day. Imagine.
So then provide a way of me to release that or cope with that, But mostly they never say. And then there's a thing about NDAs where you're asked to sign NDAs, so you can never tell anyone what exactly you were doing in that job. Yeah. So my pain, first of all, because I am also a mother, is how excited parents are when your child akikwambia amepata kazi, only to find out later that you have a mental illness that originated from this job. So like in the long run, we're doing more harm than good, especially if there are people who mentally are affected, the platform workers.
Yeah. So how does the future of gig work look like in Kenya, especially that now we are making milestones? I mean, we've highlighted very many things that could be done, should be done, we pray will be done. So looking at the ideal space and situation, what is the future of gig working from where you sit?
I think I usually say again that we do not have to trade flexibility for rights. You know, if everyone who is today employed, they usually have a career growth pathway. Gig work is designed to make you stuck. You know, there are very few who are able to leave, but most of them will get stuck. I feel like at this particular point, for us to move forward is to ensure that the worker's voice is powerful and heard, and not just as a data point, but in a decision-making table, you know, because mostly people will do surveys. Policies will be made without any consultation. And even if you go there and have a round table, the working group is not involving the workers, because if there's a representation, they will be like, but we need to also think about this. So the future is where at some point we are not seen as a barrier to innovation, and yet you're the people who will innovate these things, you know. If we decide today that we are building our own AI as a country, wouldn't they need the very people? So it's important to be, I feel like, because now we have an opportunity where we have, again, a legal institution to do this. It is up to each and every platform worker to take that responsibility. I mean, get angry enough first, and then be hopeful and take responsibility to be the part of that change. Yeah.
As we wind up the conversation, at the risk of being a bit controversial, we have a lot of our young girls and boys engaging heavily in sexual relations, business. Right now, it's actually more of a business. And people are doing all sorts of things. We have OnlyFans now even happening in this country. We have dating apps that have been changed to hookup sites. And I think one time in our office, I was having this conversation even with my seniors, and you were like, is that also gig economy?
It is actually.
Because if we haven't even been able to manage sex work on its own, hatujaweza kutetea wale wenye wanakuanga kwa uwanja. So now the younger generation has come and taken it a notch higher than that. Now they're operating in the digital space.
Yes.
Number one, is that still gig economy?
It is.
Number two, how do we protect them?
So it is the only fun bit is gig economy, and there's some research done by, I think, Brazil or Colombia around it. So the way we need to move forward is ensure that we also have our own research as a country in the different areas to bring out the you know, like, this is what is really happening. And then use that as evidence to push for policy. And not just policy, because we are very good at writing policies, but implementing those policies, right?
Yeah.
And ensuring that it's happening. Because there's also another interesting segmentation where researchers, so especially foreign researchers, who it has become like a pathway to get your PhD. You know, so if you're doing your PhD and you're given a thesis, it's very interesting to say content moderators in Kenya, OnlyFans, Uber drivers. I mean, there's a lot that has been done, especially by foreigners, not even us foreigners.
Yeah.
Scholars themselves, the teachers, the PhDs, all of them. For others, it's from a way for you to grow your career. I mean, write a book, grow your career. What we are asking is, can we do that? Very intentional, that this evidence then makes people understand, and even communities, because sometimes you see, like when doctors are striking, why is it our whole problem as a country? Because we understand the magnitude of it. I mean, someone went to the hospital, they were supposed to be giving birth, hakuna daktari, or the doctor is there, but hakuna medicine. It becomes a community thing.
Yeah.
And we are all angry. Why are you not paying doctors?
And
or
we
why
all
are
get
you...
to be part of the conversation.
I think I want to believe that is a very good pathway we can, so that when you say I am a data labeler or I'm an AI annotator, we are not that we don't get lost in that name of feeling bougie. Like it's something very cool that someone is doing, but really bringing out what that means, because that is the only way. I mean, people will listen.
Are we ready, Frida, to pivot towards such conversations? I mean, we've opened the door to having conversations that are stemming from, old career paths, where I'm seeing actually it's now the millennial parents who are open to my child is a gig worker, or they are, not the traditional doctor, lawyer, engineer. Hata news anchor ndo tumekuja tu kukubaliwa hivi the other day, that now this content creator or whatnot. But if we are coming to talking about OnlyFans, are we really ready, even as a country, to start having such conversations and informing people?
It is happening. We should.
So we should.
Yeah, we should. And I think the starting point inakwanga hard. Like even when I started talking about the challenges of platform workers, I was a broken record. I can assure you, it was very frustrating, because you know, but when you try and bring it out, but why are you bringing that in this conversation? How is it relevant?
Yeah.
But I can tell you, there are things that have moved. So consistency is important. But then we used to talk then bila a legal standing. Now we can talk with a legal standing. Like if I was to challenge the location-based workers right now, if I was to challenge, the largest group would be the Uber drivers or the delivery. If I was to challenge them and tell them, come together and become Kugwa's members, 20,000 of you, tuone kama hakuna kitu itafanyika. They have wamefanya strikes. They've tried bargaining with this platform. They've tried talking to government. Nothing moves, because government and the platform knows you don't have
the numbers, so you don't have the power.
Exactly.
All right.
Yeah.
Frida, there's a young person. Let's talk to someone who's almost coming out of high school. And the notion being sold out right now is, me, I don't want to be employed. I want to do my own thing. I want to figure out my own space.
Yeah.
And the notion being sold is that there's money. People are talking about Forex. Even today in the morning, we had that conversation in the news. And it's like young people don't even have an understanding. So already they're going into these spaces with very high returns expectations, not looking at the risks, not looking at having the information. But to tie it to you in the gig economy, there's this child who wants to transition. They've already decided old traditional working ways are not theirs. They want to go the digital way.
Yeah.
What do you tell them?
So there's one thing that will never change. The solution that the person you're targeting is looking for. So whatever you want to do, whether it's in the gig economy or not employment, because employment will be set. Mostly in the gig economy, is about the value that you will offer people. So, for example, I am a proponent of specialization. And specialization does not come in a month. You know, one of the things that I do not like about this space is you'll hear people being told they're being trained on maybe software development, and it's a 6-week boot camp. I do not know what kind of solution you will develop in 6 weeks that a customer can pay for. What you have, what you have is introduction to, right? Because you have been introduced to software development, maybe we may introduce you to AI. Well, you only have the essential. But then for someone to pay for it, it has to be quality. It has to be, there has to be some work done in it. So, for example, when we think about content creation, when I'm scrolling, honestly, I don't think about the behind the scenes work. Saturday, we had a session with officials of Google, the ladies, and we were doing a video. And it was so much work to get it right. And I was like, hey, okay. So for anyone who does this every day and I'm scrolling, but you have to put in the work. That will never, professionalism will never change whether uko wapi, So the thing about getting into a space, you get your first client, you tell them, I don't over-deliver, but mostly specialize, because then you become the expert in that space.
Okay. We truly appreciate you for coming and having this conversation. I think we've just scratched the surface. There's a lot to be unpacked, and that means you're definitely coming back on our set to just have more and more conversations.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I don't know, do you have any other parting shot, or
just to tell the gig workers they have the power to change their working conditions? The power is theirs. It's up to them to pick it up.
Tunataka nini? Tunataka power. That was Frida Mwangi. And we truly appreciate spaces where we continuously have these conversations that give people tools to make better and more informed decisions. And that was just us unpacking how the gig economy ecosystem looks like and how it works. Thank you for coming to this episode here on Speak Up Africa. As always, we bring you conversations that aim to inform, engage, and empower. My name is Wendy Lois. I will love you and leave you for this episode, and I will be seeing you on the next one. Kwaheri.